Hey, what's good, people? This is episode 147, I think. I don't know. I'm Jason DeBiss. That guy looks like Jeff Samuels.
Oh, hey.
Looks like him.
That guy looks like Doc Vander Meer, a.k.a. the Muscle Shark, a.k.a. the Savage, the man with so many nicknames. Ladies and gentlemen, the episode starts right now. What's up, people? You have asked. You have asked and you have asked. Months and months have gone by, but ask and you shall receive. Because for me, I've got to give the people what they want. Along with my man, Jeffrey Kennedy Samuels, along with my friend Doc Vander Meer, I'm Jason DeBiss. This is episode 147 of the Option Podcast. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Cool, man. I like it. So, you're playing tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. Yep. With a buddy from back home.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. We practiced today. Had a good time.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
Yeah. Trying to make the most of it while I'm out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just been having double days since I got out.
Yeah. Well, my challenge to him was because he did a whole bunch of analytics with Burek or whatever and this and that, and I'm like, I feel like Jeff, like too much information.
Eric
Well,
His corner.
Who did?
Yeah. No, but I feel like like sometimes when you get, there's something I call paralysis through analysis. Meaning you're getting so much information when it's time to play, you're just like, hold up. So sometimes just two or three things, less is more. I mean, so I wish you luck. Jay, playing with Mr. Vaughn in the draw.
Chris
we don't know who we're
Start
playing yet.
Friday, we have no clue. I don't know what time we play, who we play. Just got to wait it out.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Cool, man. I'm very, very glad to have you on the show. I'm glad we made the Michigan connection to have Doc on the show. And this and that.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I wanted to wait a few months after you beat Phil because I didn't want to be one of them people that was blowing up to act like they knew you after you won that match. So I'm like, I'm going to say what's up to Grosel and whatever and this and that. So I have lightning round questions. We're going to have 60 seconds apiece to answer them.
Cool.
And whatever spills over, if the conversation spills over, we'll do that and we'll make that happen. And we're going to have a lot of fun and this and that. And
Sweet.
we'll definitely explore that moment, that nostalgia. Jeff has definitely had tons of them in his career as well.
Oh, yeah.
And let's set up my camera. Sorry, let's set up my 60-second clock. There it is. All right, boys. So question number 1. There's been a buzz about refs. Actually, I could just hand these questions to you guys. So,
Yeah, that works.
made copies. Look at me. Look how I do, boys. Actually, let's go live. All right, guys. So question number 1. There's been a buzz about refs being more relaxed with hands calls, particularly on the FIVB scene or whatever, and this and that, and sometimes I guess in the AVP scene. So with only 60 seconds apiece, I know you guys have to concentrate because I know there's so much you guys want to say about this. Is this something you as players or have experienced in on-court play against your opponent? Maybe they've been relaxed, or you felt like, maybe the refs have been gracious with some of your hands and this and that. So I want your thoughts on this buzz staring that the referees have gotten more relaxed with hand calls. Jeffrey Kennedy Samuels, you will go first.
I still don't know why you call me that, but I love it.
I want to keep saying it because people are going to think that.
I love
when
it.
They Google search you. 60 seconds, baby.
Ready? I'm ready.
Go.
So how do I feel about hands and them kind of relaxing it? Before I was like strongly against it. I was all for the culture, beach volleyball, and keeping the hands pretty tight. But just since it's so inconsistent from ref to ref, them trying to figure out what's clean, what's not clean, like I'm almost for just like, if it's not bad, like, just so we can have a standard, like a gold standard of like what a bad hands call is, just so we're not always arguing about it. We spend so much time arguing about hands that it's like almost to the point where like, why don't we just do what the FIVB does? Because then at least, like, not for the sake of it being easier, but you just have less issues. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it.
My man got 10 seconds left. I like it. You did it with 10 seconds to spare. In fact, you did it before I could allow my horn to sound off. Listen to the horn. That's our full stop. All right, so Doc, 60 seconds, go.
Oh man, yeah, where to begin? I do not really appreciate where the hands are going. I think it's too lax. I think it takes a lot of the skill out of the game. As long as it's not a double or a lift, I feel like it's pretty obvious generally. I feel like it's pretty easy to make that call. I just feel like there is so much discrepancy between refs and players. There's like miscommunication. There's some sort of disconnect there. And now I'm starting to see, like on the juniors level, these juniors are playing in these tournaments without refs. And so I think the coaches are starting to teach their juniors to hold the ball more and to focus less on like the outcome of the set. As long as it's not spinning, it doesn't matter. And I think that's going to eventually trickle over into the adult game in a couple of years here. And I'm kind of worried about that because a lot of these hands are just, everything's like a lift, As long as it's not spinning, they're fine. But I'm just kind of afraid, like in the next 5-10 years, what hands are going to look like.
All right, my turn, but this one's definitely going to spill over after
I've got so
my
much to
1
say.
minute diatribe is done
1
with this,
minute's not
gentlemen. So for me, it's like this. If you ask any ref, particularly on the FIVB scene from indoor to outdoor, a ref will always tell you a double is not how the set comes out, and that's been a big urban myth. It's how the set comes in. And this is why people like Phil Dahlhauser can have one set go inside one hand, outside the other, and it's still clean and rotationless. So this is why you'll hear a lot of referees say spin is not an indication, but at the same time, those seem to be the first referees that are calling it, judging it on spin. So that's something I think Jeff might have been talking about as far as consistency is concerned.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is having people have a teaching tool to understand what the set
Right.
and it looks like. And after high school and after juniors, dude, they got to let it go. There has to be
Right.
some fluidity on this. They can't be this catch and throw thing and this and that.
Right.
So I agree with you guys where if this is what a double is, be consistent. If that's what it isn't, that's what it isn't. Because for me, I don't think the FIVB scene has relaxed with that. They've always called the double on how it comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As opposed to how it comes out.
Yeah.
And Dave Carson, who we're trying to get, he's setting up courts right now,
Yeah.
supposedly. And my horn just didn't go off. But it's one of those things where as long as they're consistent on how it comes in, because I'll reiterate this, Jeff, and you're going to go next on this. I'll reiterate that there are guys who are good enough to have one ball come in one hand and out the other, and it doesn't spin.
Mm-hmm.
So do you not call a double on that? All right? Jeff. Doc.
Bro, I'm such a bad ref that like it's hard
Look.
for me to always have an opinion on that. I just feel like somehow it just has to be more consistent, whether it's being more stringent on handsets,
Right.
or like I feel like that's what the FIVB went for. Is they were just like it's just too hard to hold that standard and everybody have the same view of what's good and what's bad. So I don't know. That's just a really tough one for me.
Yeah. In my opinion, I feel like it takes a lot of skill out of the game. To set well, you have to be good with your feet. You have to be good with your hands. Like when I was learning volleyball, I started playing open when I was like 12 years old. If I had that's when I started working on my hands. If ball came out bad, the team I was playing against, you think they were like, oh, it's okay, he's only 12. No,
it ain't no 12-year-old exception.
They grabbed the
to
ball.
hands
They grabbed the
rule.
ball and said, "Nope, that's a double or that's a lift," and we moved on. And you know
Nice.
what? That's just how you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of the consistency, like I get where Jeff is coming from. But we have the rules written, right? I don't know how often it's talked about amongst the officials. What they should be calling, what they shouldn't be calling. So
But we also have a lot of new refs.
we do have a lot of new refs.
The whole
That's
staff
true.
is just new people.
Yep.
And you'll get some people that are like, they won't call the actual doubles, but
Mhm.
then they'll call some before they even hit your hands.
Right.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
what are we, like at that point, I'm just like, well, shoot. And like, when I'm reffing, I just like, this is bad. You guys keep going. And I don't know, the FIVB guys, like, I still feel like and obviously they're the best players in the world, but...
Well, that's the thing. They're the best players in the world. They should be able to handset, right?
But they do. But I still think that they do have good fundamentals still, even though their rules are a little bit different than ours. Well, they're supposed to be the same technically. But,
yeah.
But even though their rules are viewed a little bit differently than ours do, or ours are. So, I don't know. I feel like it could take some of the fundamentals out of the game or some of the skill out of the game if it's just lax to a point where we don't care how it comes out, or just like, hey, no lifts like the FIVB does, like nothing from down here, everything over your head, and as long as you're not doubling it, pretty bad, then it should be good. I don't know. It is tough. I haven't been playing since I could walk in diapers like this guy, so.
Me neither. Yeah. But I get what you're saying, because I always say, look, as a general rule, I know we want a universal thing that's understood around the world. And the last time I had Ref Dave Carson on the show, I'm going to try in a minute. We're going to call him on the beach. The last time I checked with him, he said something really, really smart. Check with your league. Right. For example, look at the Pottstown Rumble. Right? Is side out still existent? No, but it is in their league. Is big court still existent? No, but it is in their league, right? The scoring freeze that the AVP did, for which we'll talk about a little bit later, that was something that the AVP as a professional sports league instituted. Look at other sports, right? Basketball, they got rid of the hand check rule for a little bit. Football, they started being more throwing more flags for unnecessary roughness, because I think these leagues are designed to make offense dominate the day, look more flashy, generate new fans, excite old fans.
Right.
So I think maybe that's where volleyball was trying to go with the hands on this one, but at the same time, indoor, or you can't call indoor bump set spike anymore, right? It's smudge set spike.
Yeah.
Which I will finish, because maybe we're going back to this, but I like to finish by saying that it doesn't affect the highest levels. It F's up people who are trying to play it, and it F's up these guys trying to get their rating and this and that, because just like indoor, if you look at the highest level, no one's receiving with their hands anyway. They don't care if it's a double or not. With that serve to space, they have to receive with their forearms. And at the highest level here, like you said, I would like to think that the best players in the world already have a good release and good fluidity, where this whole thing is, if it happens game 3, 14-14, right, Jeff, we need to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think even though the rules have laxed quite a bit, the skill, I think it's still there. I think there is a question on whether or not it would remain if we went any further with relaxing the hands. But at least, when you're watching these main draws, I see a lot of stuff that probably would have been questionable several years back that are now okay. But I still think, I don't know, I still feel like there's quite a bit of skill left in it.
Absolutely.
I'm
talking to two of the better setters on the tour, though. I got the right two guys for the job.
It's tough.
Yeah, the reason that they want to be more lax on the hands is to extend rallies, right?
Yeah,
so you can have more offensive plays, which
the
I
crazy
get.
stuff going on with the jump setting and all that sort of stuff. These guys
it's more
wouldn't be
fun
able
to
to jump
watch.
set and do all that if the rules were relaxed a little bit.
And if you just if you turn on TV and volleyball's on and somebody sets a ball and the play dies, if you're not
kind of boring.
You haven't been around volleyball at all, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what you're doing. Are you going to Google
No.
what the rules or probably not?
Yeah.
Actually, since we're on, let's just have a fun moment. And Jeff, I'm wearing a Brooklyn Nets hat. I'm wearing my Yankee hat today.
This is different.
It is my way of saying I'm done with the Knicks, but until Dolan sells the team. When Dolan sells the team, they could come see me, But until then, let's see if we could reach Dave Carson. See if we can mess with him, pick up, surprise the hell out of him. Let's turn that up.
I'm just so impressed on how you have someone on your phone and I can hear it through my headphones.
Yeah. Well, that was the way you were gonna hear his answers and this and that. Because normally, I tell my guests, I'm like, I don't have to wear headphones if y'all don't want to. Okay, he ain't picking up. We'll try him later. We'll try him at the end of the podcast. He's actually helping setting up nets and net heights and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, and maybe after the qualifier, if he's at the hotel near here, I could get him on. All right, guys. So hey, let's go lightning. Lightning round. 1 minute questions. 1 minute whatever. We have round 2. The NCAA. Let's talk a little bit something that's been out of our wheelhouse for quite some time, but I always keep an eye on it, and my guess is so do you. NCAA has instituted 16 teams for the women's beach volleyball playoffs for the big dance. So no longer 8 teams, and I actually like that. They have also, however, eliminated double elimination, which let's see if we can hold that question. Wait, we got someone. I accept this phone call. Dave, what's up, man?
Good day, Jason.
How you doing, man?
Setting lines. One of the fun parts of this circus that we have to do.
Well, I'm live broadcasting right now, and I got Doc Vander Meer in the room, and I got Jeff Samuels, and we were talking about the institution of handsetting, and we wanted to know.
For me, I need to be careful what I say.
No,
off about the circus.
Well, 2 things: be careful, and 2, I speak for the 3 of us when I say we're going to turn them up.
Maybe pick your phone up. It's
okay.
Better service.
Yeah, sorry. I speak for the 3 of us when I say that we're glad you're standing tall on this issue. Can you hear him, Jeff?
Yeah.
All right. So my question, we're gonna have one question apiece. My question is about hands. Is hands an institute? Like a lot of people said, FIVB has been a little bit more relaxed on hands. And do you see yourself do we see the AVP go in the same direction, or is this kind of an urban myth? That's my question. Before I give you them.
I believe, I despise that I believe what we're doing here is we're staying probably a little more truer, although we're still following some of the guidelines. So I know FIVB is kind of moving it towards movement of the ball is not as big an issue as catching and throwing the ball.
Got it.
And I believe that we're kind of following that edict, but at the same time, it's very difficult for us, depending on our markets. Like if we go down to Florida, Texas, oh my God.
Okay. That makes sense. Doc, got a question? This is Doc Vander Meer.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got
Go to Jeff.
I mean, I kind of agree with that synopsis, and I feel like that's the best way to go. I don't think we should totally go toward exactly what the FIVB is doing, but there are a lot of teams who have to play both or get the opportunity to play both tours, so they can't be completely different. And I feel like kind of sticking with our culture here in the States, our setting, the way we set the ball is still very acceptable, and keeping that standard. I think the FIVB is maybe just a bit too lax, but I think also the AVP has to they have to kind of play both sides of the fence on this one, kind of keeping some of that standard, but also giving the game the opportunity to grow in the same direction that the rest of the world is, because then it would kind of be unfair to the rest of the guys who are traveling around playing by different standards or different rules, basically. So I kind of like it. I kind of like keeping it like the way it is, the kind of like a good happy medium. So I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah,
I think part of that, Jeff, is we've got to also prepare teams for both tours.
Yep, that's true.
So for our AVP, we can't stay too strict like old school would like us to be, because there's a lot of cross playing right now between the World Tour and this.
Yeah.
So we have to come as close as we can in order to prepare our athletes from the USA to be playing on the World Tour, and trying to line ourselves as much as possible and still not the game for the purist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I think I was saying that. I just used a bunch
Yeah.
more words to say. I think I was saying the same thing.
So Dave, in your opinion, what's the reason for becoming more lax on the hand calls?
If you're looking at it from the World Tour, I believe the administration for the World Tour has changed a little bit so that you have more influence from the indoor side, from the top down. So that's having a big influence on how the game is being played. Excuse me, being played on the beach. Even though a lot of your beach players are saying, let's don't go too far. It's also part of an entertainment value, I also believe. You take a look at what Miles Partain is doing on our tour, a la European style, what they like to see, and it's an entertainment value that, man, you can't manufacture that. It's fun to watch. It's exciting, and I think we need a little bit more of that within our sport.
For sure, but I mean, I wouldn't argue any of his hands.
No, not him.
I think they're good.
His hands are all good.
But
Some of the guys on the World Tour, that jump set, I would argue some of theirs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But
his are all
what
clean.
Dave just said. Well, what Dave just said is there are more tall indoor guys coming out to the beach. So it sounds like they're trying to relax the hands so that these tall indoor guys, say these middles can come out and still have the option to hand set, even if it does come out pretty ugly.
And overall, I think that's just the direction the FIVB has been going for a while. I mean, even from, I think we started the whole change from old school to new school was kind of because of them, and then wanting to kind of do smaller court, rally scoring, bigger guys coming out and playing, and like just more offense, more power, more aggression type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been their kind of agenda, which, I don't really play FIVB, so it doesn't really matter to me, but I think I don't know. I kind of like keeping some things kind of the same. I think some of it goes too far. Like I said, some of the jump sets on the FIVB are awful. I'm sorry, awful. Miles Partain is gnarly. His sets are always looking really good. I don't have anything.
He
to
hasn't
argue
double
there.
hit since he was 15 years
Yeah,
old.
I haven't seen
That was the ball that Jeff
since
blocked
he
and
played
looked at
me
Dave
in
Carson.
Hermosa in 2017. I haven't seen him double a ball.
Part of that is our job is to find that happy medium to try and make as many people as happy as possible within the entertainment value and within retaining some of the old school value and blending in some of the new school.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, so if that's the case, then when's the rule book gonna get updated?
Ooh. Yeah. Maybe the rule book stays the same and the refs just follow it.
We're making some changes here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe not, because we basically follow USAV. So we do a lot of interpretation with our administration, with the people who lead us, and some of us who are senior officials. We have our conversations, and then we bring that down the ladder, and we talk to people, and we try and steer them and guide them in what we feel is the proper path.
Yep, that makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
whether or not we see it actually written, I don't know, but we're doing it verbally as much as possible.
I can't believe I had the camera on myself when I did that. So, Dave, I remember the last time we talked, you said check with your league, which made a lot of sense to me, right? Like the Pottstown Rumble had side out. They had, they have a set of rules. FIVB has a set of rules. And I really like that. But I also like that they're trying to do something universally accepted as volleyball. Last question before we leave. The AVP has had a bunch of good partnerships with some of these leagues on the regional scene, right? Pottstown Rumble, Wapaka, this and that. Has there been a challenging venture for the refs to get in some of these newer venues, like Atlantic City? Not newer venues, but like partnership venues. Coconut Beach, remember I was there last year?
Challenging from what aspect?
Just more assignments. Right, I mean, if the AVP just had an 8-tour stop as opposed to partnershiping with these other people where the AVP are using their own refs and their own people. Were these assignments that you had anyway, that you guys had anyway before the partnerships, or is it something?
Not necessarily did we have those assignments, and some of those assignments are just us as lead officials being there
Right.
in a partnership with the event itself.
Got
and
it.
you probably won't see us on any matches until maybe quarterfinals, semifinals, or finals.
Okay.
It's more of a partnership between the AVP and those events themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And as far as staffing it goes, we couldn't staff them. We're in the same boat as
Yeah.
the rest of the world is. Staffing and finding officials is, Jesus, it's we've lost 53,000 officials across the board for the 2 years of the pandemic in all sports. That's a lot of bodies missing.
Yeah, it is.
And the average age of volleyball officials, if I remember correctly, is 53 years old. We need some new blood. And of
I'm
course,
52 and no way in hell.
I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I would love to have you out here and train you.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I'd be
But,
the worst ref in the world.
Jeff
No,
said he'd be
you
the
know
worst ref in the world.
Some players make good coaches, some don't.
Yeah.
Some players make good officials,
Hey.
some don't.
Chuck Daly will always be a better coach than Isaiah Thomas. Jeff Van Gundy will always be a better coach than Derek Fisher. Okay, right? And those are guys
Right.
that didn't even play the sport. So, no, I totally
And
get that.
And I think, Jason, it all goes back to our original discussion we had, and I think that was, episode 9?
Yeah, episode 9, dude. We're on 147.
I know. That was quite a while ago.
Thank you.
Which was, we're part of the entertainment. And you don't come, nobody comes to watch us blow our whistle. Plain and simple. So whatever we can do to facilitate that match to be decided by the players on the court within the guidelines and the rules, that's what we're trying to do. And however it moves forward from FIVB, AVP, USAV, we'll all, and you guys as players, we are all working together on this.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I love to talk with players after matches or after events. Or I've got a couple questions
He does, guys.
for some players that I'm going to see from Atlanta that I want to ask them about. I love when I said to you, I'd love to have this format in a longer scheduled time where we actually could maybe even sit in the same room and have 2 or 3 players and 2 or 3 officials and have a hell of a dialogue. We never do that.
No.
That would be very interesting, I think.
Pleases me to be the first.
Well, there you go, Jason. You set it
Pleases
up.
me. Hey, I got a nice house. This room gets a little hot, but I think I could definitely arrange it. But I like your assertion because there are fewer referees. You have to keep the rules more simpler for the players that have to ref, right? You got these players
Correct.
like, oh, I didn't open hand, I hardened my hand or something, right? So, like, I'll give you another example. CBVA wrote into their rules, you cannot receive serve with an overhead set. In the actual rules, that is not illegal. It's perfectly legal.
Directional blocking, I believe, is illegal in CBVA as well.
Oh, they actually changed that.
Oh, did they?
Two years ago
they did?
during COVID,
Oh.
yeah. But I really like, hey, we're not having no discussions if that's clean or not. We're just, I got
Right.
players reffing. We ain't got all day. We don't have night lights. We ain't got all day to argue about calls. Just got rid of it. So to your credit, I like what you said about check with your league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
And like I said, 2 of the toughest markets for us to go to, AVP or anything, is Florida and Texas.
Yep.
I was going
Oh,
to
my
say,
God.
and Colorado's got to be up there because Skylar Del Sol's ruined it for everyone because his hands are too good.
Right. If this is the gold standard,
yeah,
we're
he's
all
the standard there.
F2.
Texas is always absolutely brutal, and then Florida I live there now, so don't hate me, Florida. But with your lifts, everybody lifts it in Florida, so they think it has to be lifted and just come out perfect. But yeah, Florida's a tough one.
I heard someone from the Pottstown Rumble. The first time someone puts up his hands, just call hands. Even if it's good, just call hands. He said, dude, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to tell his name. Hey, Dave, we've taken up too much of your time, man. We're going to finish some of these lightning rounds, and we appreciate the time you took out of your busy schedule, brother. And I'll see you tomorrow at the qualifier and Friday for the draw.
Absolutely. I love it. I appreciate you taking the time to ask us because we really don't get the opportunity that often from the officiating side to sit down and really explain and talk about some things. And I would love it if we can find some time to get us all together in a room and try and do that at some point.
I could do it. You guys bring lunch. I could be bribed. I could be blackmailed. Just bring me some food. Anything but pizza, because the pizza here is garbage. But go ahead.
We'll ship it all the way from New York.
Ooh.
And I'll bring some lobsters.
Come on,
I'll bring
Dave.
some lobsters from Maine. I'll go out on my boat and I'll get some lobsters. And I'll bring some lobsters and we'll get a gigantic bottle of whatever liquor we need. And it might be interesting.
Yeah, look, Mark Fornicari did the right thing. There's a big bottle behind Dave Vander Meer. He came in and we went 2 hours and 25 minutes hard. Anyway, Dave, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
See you this weekend.
Hey, see you guys tomorrow.
Yep, see you
Later.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Hey, all right. Hey guys, thanks for making that happen.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Where were we? NCAA, right?
NCAA,
Yeah.
that's right.
NCAA
16
has 16
teams.
teams, and it is now a single elimination instead of double elimination. With your permission, I'd like to lead the dance on this with
do it.
the 60 seconds.
Yep.
And I will say it like this. The question as to what's thumbs up and thumbs down in both of those categories. Boom, here we go. I like thumbs up. I like 16 teams. I thought it was kind of way overdue as they started making more teams regardless of what division they played in, right? They're all playing in one division until there are more teams where they can actually have divisions. The Midwest has come out strong. TCU, Hector's always had a good powerhouse. Florida State consistent. Florida International. I mean, this isn't just the West Coast vibe, even though that's what you see in the absolute finals. I had the pleasure of working with John Merritt, LMU, right? They made a semifinals one year. So with that being said, thumbs up to the 16 teams, thumbs down to single elimination. I think the AVP and some of these tour stops have shown that you can do double elimination in a 3-day period, which, by the way, is what the NCAA is in the first place. It's a 3-day period. Just do that until you get to 32 teams. And then beyond 32 teams, one off, single elimination. Bye, see ya. You should have been ready, okay? But from my own opinion, and man, you guys are chomping at the bit. I'm gonna give y'all a minute apiece, but I want my horn to honk. There it is, and
Go
Doc
Doc.
Vander Meer.
Well, we should have asked Dave about like the refereeing situation too. Could they have run that over, double elimination with refs? I would say thumbs up because with 16 teams? Yeah, 16 teams. There's more opportunities for more schools to win a national championship, which is only going to improve the level of beach volleyball, I think. When you've got more schools that can actually vie for these national championships, it's just going to increase the level of play. So thumbs up. Thumbs down. I don't know how feasible it would be to do a double elimination because you're running there's 5 matches at a time.
5 courts,
right?
though.
5
They can actually do all 5 courts at the same time.
I don't know.
You're right. Yeah, that is 5 matches, a lot of.
That's a lot, and that's a lot more money.
Because they were doing 3
right?
and 2 before,
Yeah.
right? So you could see more matches.
Yeah.
So people could see more matches.
So
They
I
were doing
think
2 and 3.
eventually they could go that way, depending on if they're able to get more sponsors and if schools are able to contribute more money to the actual tournament.
Nice.
Excuse me,
I
man.
think
That
this
was
is
the
good.
horn. It's my turn. No, I'm just kidding.
It's at a good. I think it's at a good good spot,
nice.
and they can keep going up from here. So that's cool.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Jay.
Yeah, so I agree. Thumbs up on the 16 teams. That's awesome. More opportunities for these girls to get out there, and not only just to win a national championship, but say it's your freshman year, then you get that chance maybe over and over again. So that's good opportunity and experience for them. That's a thumbs up. Thumbs down to single elimination, only because I want them to have more opportunities. But at the same time, the one thing we as volleyball players are forgetting, even at our level AVP, about rule changes or how the qualifiers are done and all this stuff, is that every bit of this is a freaking privilege. And just to be able to play AVP or travel around and play qualifiers, or to be able to play college beach volleyball, is totally a privilege. We didn't even have this 10 years ago. I don't know how long beach volleyball has been in college exactly, but we didn't even have it 10 years ago. So it's awesome that they're at least playing around and tweaking things and trying to figure out a best format.
Yeah.
But I will say a lot of the parents and kids were a little bit disappointed the last couple years or whatever it was, because a lot more teams didn't get an opportunity
Yeah.
to go to the national championship.
I had a
Whatever,
team.
so-
Look, my first year with John Mayer, Todd Rogers, Cal Poly, and Mike Campbell at Long Beach State. I think they were 24-5 and like 26-4, and neither team made it to the NCAA's that year. That was insane.
Yeah.
And I think, and of course, a little spill over here. I think the way they can do it, you can have 5 conference champions, right? Like South Florida, whatever. The West can have like Texas, that division, like TCU and Louisiana, they could have their division. California already has 3 divisions, right? The WCC, the Big West.
Yeah.
The Big West is Cal Poly, Long Beach State, and Hawaii. WCC is Pepperdine. St. Mary's is coming up, and LMU, and then of course the PAC. More teams that we can mention, but it's kind of been a 2-horse race between USC and UCLA.
I'd like to change my thumbs down.
I think Jeff.
No.
I think Jeff.
There's so I'm just gonna say, be a little cheeky here. There's no tournament yet for men's collegiate volleyball.
And that's why.
And if they said today, and we were still in college, hey, you guys can go 16 teams, but it's single elimination, we would not give it.
We wouldn't care.
You know what? I changed my mind too.
We would not care.
I mean, guys,
The infrastructure is already there.
take a look at indoor men's. Right now, there's only 7 teams invited,
Yeah.
and that's single elimination.
Oh, really?
7 teams.
So what a random number.
Yeah.
Why not 8?
7
Why 7?
teams. Yeah, 17.
I don't know. So my boy Sam Schweitzky from Princeton can get in the dance. They won the EIVA.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Big shout out, Sam Schweitzky, wherever you are. Sam Schweitzky played at Hunter High School where I was a volleyball coach, and now he's a head coach at Princeton. So
Nice.
Small world for everybody, baby.
Yep.
Next lightning round. As of last year, boys, the freeze. The scoring freeze is no more. What is one thing you will miss about the scoring freeze? And or one thing you will not miss about the scoring freeze. Now, for you as players, I have to punt it to you. I am not an active player. I will shut up as much as I can because I am dying to hear some of the things you will miss or not miss, because this is just fun conversation. Jeff, you go first.
Oh, I'm up to bat. Yeah, I kind of miss the freeze. I feel like it's really good for the fans and also some players. I've had it benefit me more than it's hurt me. A lot of people remember me and Brunstein playing the Partains first round.
It's 14-11.
Hermosa 14-11, coming back and winning that one. But my first time ever qualifying was the first time they ever had the freeze. First tournament ever. Me and Dylan Mark were down 10-14 in the third set. I think it was like the round to get in or something, and we ended up coming back and winning that one. First tournament ever having the freeze in Chicago. So it's always had a good spot in my heart. Some people hate it. Some people don't even want to play because of it, but I feel like it's good for the sport, having that chance to actually come back, even though it's 13-10 or whatever it may be, like having the fans stick around and actually hang out for that opportunity for a comeback.
Yeah.
Nice. Doc.
Yeah, good points. So one thing I'll miss about the freeze is that, being down, potentially at that point where we're going to lose, one side out away from losing, and having that opportunity to earn my way back into the match and potentially win that. One thing I will not miss about the freeze is being at just 1 point away from winning the match, and then the team that you're playing battling back and coming back and
start sweating as soon as you hear the freeze is up. It's like,
you're like, oh man. It's like a mad dash to the freeze. Like let's get as big of a gap as we possibly can beforehand, because we know this. As soon as we hit 20 or 14, like that team is just they're gonna find a new level of energy and play like they haven't played all match.
Yeah.
Jesus, guys, as we count down to 7, 6.
I think it's fun for the fans too. I mean,
and that's like
it's like everybody decides. It's
Yeah.
like the teams finally decide to like actually start playing really hard volleyball.
I think for me, when I've been down when the freeze comes up, it's like that nothing to lose feeling,
Right, yeah.
and the pressure and all that other stuff starts to melt away. So it's kind of like that point where, well, okay, we got one. Ain't nothing to lose now. Let's throw everything out the window. So
yeah, let's start ripping jump serves.
yeah,
See what happens.
yeah, right. Nothing to lose. I can miss my jump serve and still keep going.
Yep.
So yeah.
You know what? Being in a room, all right, my turn, but being in a room with two guys who are active players right now who are playing as early as tomorrow and Friday, I've never been in this situation where I felt like my opinion meant something and at the same time didn't mean I feel like my opinion means absolutely nothing to these guys who are actually on the court playing that, and I humbly say that. But with that being said, the one thing I'm gonna miss about the freeze is, like you said, it is a grind and it does allow someone to come back. But I will not miss the freeze more than I will, because there is a guy that got to 20 or got to match point to begin with, right? He had to get real points to get there to begin with. I also didn't miss the freeze because we were the only sports league doing it and every other league wasn't doing it. To the AVP's credit, I did like that they eliminated the freeze from the qualifier, because there is a time constraints there. You're already doing a 2-day qualifier and it's still getting dark. So big up to the AVP for finding a way to make it happen, and thankfully, as my horn and my timing's perfect, that you got rid of it. Timing's everything, boys. All right, hey, next question. The AVP has done an absolutely fantastic job coming back to venues that miss the AVP dearly. Michigan, Denver, Florida. I can go on. Now, with that being said, what is one venue the AVP has not gone to the last 2 seasons in which they should keep in mind and perhaps come back to? I'll go first on this one since the camera's on me and since I'm a prisoner of the moment. I don't care if New York's too expensive. Go back to New York.
We all hate it.
Yeah.
Go back to New York.
I absolutely hate it.
There's
I hate every bit of it.
Y'all got to deal with me for 45 seconds. Zip it.
Okay,
it's
sorry.
my turn.
Sorry.
New York City is a difficult venue to get hotels. It is a difficult venue, and it is a hot time of the year. The sand's hot. But as far as the fan base, I rival that with Chicago and Seattle. You got the Dominicans uptown, right? You got the Koreans in Flushing, the Russians in Brighton Beach, the Polish guys in South Brooklyn, the Jamaicans and West Indian dudes on Flatbush Avenue. All of them getting together, to see some beach volleyball when indoor and grass dominates their lives. They know it is an absolute privilege and honor to come out there and watch the best of the best beat the out of each other on the hottest sand in the hottest time of the year. Make mine New York City. Doc Vander Meer, the floor is yours.
All right. Let's see. Well, I love to see the AVP go back to Grand Haven. I think that's just a beautiful venue. The sand is probably perfect.
Where?
Grand Haven? Grand Haven, Michigan.
It's the best spot.
Yes.
They got the best sand at any beach we go to.
Oh,
the
yeah.
best sand at any beach we go to.
It's
Hands
wonderful.
down, not even close.
I'll let you go ahead.
Sorry.
I'll let you talk. My bad.
Grand Haven, Michigan. I think it's just a wonderful area. It's
true.
Beautiful. The sand is fantastic. I mean, there's a huge fan base there, just massive. And I'd say Santa Cruz. I just think it's a really neat place. I loved playing up there when I lived up in that area. The huge volleyball community up there as well. That would be very supportive of the AVP coming. The only issue is the sand isn't that great, but I think that could be overlooked for just how big I think that stop would be.
Yeah, that would be amazing. No coincidence that both of the guys in the room happen to be from Michigan. Where's my camera?
Well, that's the only reason how we know that beach is fire. Muskegon would have been absolutely amazing had the weather been a little bit better.
If they would have held it a week later.
Which typically it's not bad there in the summer ever. We just caught it on a cold week somehow.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, this is your minute.
Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to give a big thumbs down in New York City. Not only is it really hard to get to and it's really expensive, but flights are crappy going into there sometimes and you get canceled. I had to
I heard that.
Flight got delayed till really early in the morning. I had to go straight to the tournament and sleep on a park bench for 3 hours until my qualifier started. So that was absolutely horrible. I got a big thumbs up for Grand Haven. It's the best place, even better than Muskegon. Muskegon is beautiful normally. And then one place I would like to see him go back to is actually Bradford Beach, because that's a nice place, a great venue. Unfortunately, I think like there's management issues or something going on with price or something. Mikey, I know if you still own Bradford Beach, you need to bring the price down for us. And then also, dude, can we get some hot winter nights back, or is that too much to ask?
Florida, we talking about?
No, the indoor tour they had back in the day. Even if we only do 4 or 5 tournaments, kind of keeps everybody involved. And like, I mean, I'm sure we could talk to cities on like some sort of
like Progression.
Yeah.
Have you seen Progression's facility?
No, what's that?
They could do Progression Beach Volleyball. That's Brian McDermott.
Yeah.
He has three indoor beach courts.
I mean,
Chelsea Piers in New York.
We went to Van Elden, or maybe they didn't do that. Maybe that was just something Steve-O did. But small venues like that, where they're not too huge, and we're not trying to sell out Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah.
But we could do a place like the Forum or something like that. You know, like something that's not crazy expensive, but, you know, try to keep everyone involved throughout the winter.
Yeah.
I think that would be
I like that idea. New York, Long Island City, they just built an indoor beach facility. I got to check with my boy Kevin Edwards, set for the Trinidadian national team. He's heading up like juniors programs there, and I think it's 3 indoor courts that New Yorkers can play in the winter.
Come on, Bally's, you got this.
Yes.
I would love to go back to New York. It's awesome. So
But
when
it's
Bally's puts us on salary next year,
everything you said about New York, I get like traveling and
it's
flights
tough,
and
man.
just, I get it.
Yeah,
I mean,
tough.
sometimes I want to go home and then I don't want to go home.
I love seeing my
remember
friends there, and we go out and experience the culture there and all that. But just like getting to those tournaments, the hotels, the flights that's normally one of the most expensive ones.
Progression's too quick.
It's just like too much on us, and I think they kind of realize that. I'm not sure why they X that one out, but I'm sure they kind of realized it was like just really hard for us to get to.
Yep. Dylan Cox checking in with us. Said Progression Beach is 2 courts, not 3. So okay, thanks,
Dylan.
Thanks for the.
Why don't you go train for Motherload, buddy? Because we got to get the dub here this year. So
Vander Meer Senior said he'll bring the donuts.
Oh yeah, for that ref meeting.
For that
yeah.
I'll sit here, dude. This is all I do for a living. I coach, I commentate, I dump theater performing. When I moved out here, because I was stretched thin, trying to do both, and I came here to do this. So when you ask, like the movie 300, Spartans, what do we do for a living?
When he says that he'll bring the donuts, guess who's making those donuts?
Ah!
That's me. I'm making those donuts.
I've been to the shop before.
I'm looking at
once upon a
Doc
time
and
back
I'm
in the
saying,
day.
time to make the donuts. I'm giving away my age. Time to make the donuts. So let's do a 1-minute lightning round where we get a whole bunch of questions inside 60 seconds. And because you guys are my guests, I will not answer any of these. These are just for the 2 of you, okay?
Cool.
So let's start the 60 seconds. And these are not questions you have to think of, just first thing that came to your mind. If you want to rinse and repair at the end, then do that. Let's just get as many in as we can. Ready? You ready, guys? All right. Best conditioned partner you play with. Go, Doc.
Me? Best conditioned partner I've ever played with. I don't know. This guy right
First
here.
one that came to your mind, Jeff.
Jeff, he's pretty conditioned.
Jeff?
Dude,
Would you say-
Casey Jennings is by far,
Yeah.
he killed everyone in conditioning. This guy was, I don't know how old he is a few years ago, but insane.
The partner that brought the most drama, good or bad.
Rafi Paulus, hands down.
I'd say maybe I'm that partner.
I was going to say that about myself.
Freeze or no freeze?
Freeze.
All right. Pool or beach?
Beach.
Beach for sure.
Let's go Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
I've only ever seen Harry Potter, so I have to go with that.
Oh, no.
Do I have to? Should I watch Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is
I gotta
fantastic,
watch
man.
it. All right. I'm
Oh,
gonna
the
do it.
Christian parallels that are
movie
built
night.
into that.
I'll go Lord of the
Movie
Rings
nights.
if I had to answer in on this one.
What's yours?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to watch it then.
Favorite Marvel movie?
Also never seen it.
Oh.
Wait, is that Iron Man? Is he Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, then I've seen
I'll go Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that too. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, I go with that.
I go Avengers.
Nice.
I go Infinity
We're
Wars. The favorite venue that popped up in your head right now? You guys still
It's
got
always
a
Grand
Michigan
Haven for
mind?
me.
Yeah.
It's just-
Grand
it's just
Haven.
Wow.
A lot of good memories there.
Yeah.
All right. What's
With
worse?
this guy.
Yeah.
What's worse, a girlfriend breakup or volleyball breakup? That's an AVP question.
Same.
It's almost the same. I'm not gonna lie. That was a tough one. That's a really good question. I need to ask that one. That's
That
gonna
is
be
a
on my
great
story
question.
here
I'll do
later
that
on.
better.
Oh man.
Who's the best defender in the world? You and me talked about this, Jeff.
I mean, even though he's underrated in the shadow of Mole, Sorum is really good still. Like, maybe the best guy in the world, I would think. I don't know.
Who's that Brazilian guy? Bruno Schmidt?
Oh, yeah.
Bruno's really good.
Yeah.
But this
Even
defender,
now.
are we just talking
He's just
about
so
how
good.
many digs and touches he gets, or like the whole, like, oh, he digs, sides out, and like everything?
Oh, the minute's up, so we could elaborate.
Yeah. I mean, Mole Sorum, like, if you got a blocker that's 7 feet tall, you're going to get a lot of touches.
But he gets served every ball most of the time, and
Yeah.
even when you get a dig, you got to put the ball away, and he just doesn't mess. He don't miss, man. He doesn't miss. He's good. Like, people try to pick on him all the time. If you pick on Bruno, he's gonna have some issues at this stage in his life.
I like that Bruno can get to every ball in like 0.89 seconds.
Yeah, he's so,
Like,
the way he moves is,
Okay.
That's crazy.
But you had to say the same thing about Sorum. He don't go to every ball. He just be standing in the right spot all the time, and his blocker is the same size as everybody else's blocker, if not smaller.
It's a great debate among two people who won an Olympic gold medal
Well-
too, right? The Rio and Japan, Tokyo.
Who's the
right?
best ever, or who's the best right now?
No, best right now. I go Ahmed.
it's gotta
I mean,
be
I'm
best right
veering
now.
away from you guys. Sharif's partner, Ahmed.
He's
The
really
guy's
good.
a complete package. He's a digging machine.
He is really good.
And every time he gets a dig, you're not thinking shoot. You're on the edge of your seat because you know he's gonna blow someone the F up.
Yeah.
He's not doing shot.
Yeah.
He's and like you said, someone who's flying under the radar. You mentioned Sorum flying under the radar of Maul, and yours is just this longevity type guy who's always in the semifinals or finals, winning and losing. Always, and you know, excuse the shit out of him for not winning all the time. So
Right.
I really love our three picks. Without talking about, I'm gonna skip the question on male American beach volleyball player
Why?
because, well, who's the best male American beach volleyball player right now? See, I was gonna go women, but
Well,
y'all.
no, I'm
But
good. I thought I was just being courteous.
oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to let
mean,
you go
ahead, Zach.
first.
Aside
You
from
go
myself and Doc
Oh, I go first.
Yeah.
here. Oh, go for it.
Oh,
Go for it.
the best American male player right now is still Phil. No, I'll go.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Still Phil.
The guy
Him, even without
rolls out of bed, rolls off the couch, wants to play back row defense behind Andy Benesh.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you still wearing that NASCAR suit full of sponsors? Casey Patterson,
Yeah.
come play some ball with me.
Yeah.
John Sutton gave me a car.
Yeah.
Come to the draw. Even now, and I actually shamed the men's division because of this, and I totally glossed over the fact that this man is still great.
And he's won 3 this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way he
Insane.
plays. No, but the way he plays is sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His block,
For a
he's
long
not
time.
doing 100%
No.
jump. He's not taxing himself.
And that's the thing
these
about
these
it.
moves will cost him nothing.
Yeah.
And I would have probably had a little bit of question, a little bit of doubt, even though he probably still would have been, in my mind, the best player last few years. But after this year, where he's just, I'm going to show up with Andy, we're going to win. And, you know, go play with Casey, we're going to win. Like, he is hands down the best player.
Yeah. He
I
can
got
win
it.
with anybody.
Yeah.
If he decides he wants to win, then he's going
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And he's not even using all of his, like, he's not, like, blasting jump serves.
No,
anymore.
Right.
that's
Just
what I
say
meant
he's a
about
really good
energy
jump server.
efficiency.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to float this in and go play defense now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Damn, and I got an ace on the floater. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I got the ace anyway. I like that.
Can
pick.
we like
Highlight?
Can we
Do a highlight?
No, can we do like a let's X Phil out, but like who would maybe be like without Phil the best beach volleyball player in America
I think for right now, I
for
go.
men?
I go. The first one that came into my mind, and I'm wrong.
Is
Came
Miles?
shot.
That was gonna be mine. That was gonna be my other.
I'm a thief. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right.
J Sam.
Kame is probably, but I was gonna ask, is Kame technically our American beach, even though he's playing for our
Right.
federation?
Yep.
He's still a
Who-
freaking Canadian.
Who would you go with outside of Phil? Dude, I mean, people laugh at me when I talk about how good Theo Brunner is, but when Theo was
another
not hurt, I know all you guys play hurt. There's no such thing as coming to a tournament 100%, right? That's the reality of an athlete, of an elite athlete.
Yeah.
But when that dude's not seriously hurt, wow.
It's hard to take Theo for his complete value because it just looks easy to him. Like, it doesn't look like he's like any effort. Like, he's just like, I'm out here. Like, when I know he puts in ton of effort, ton of work, you don't get there without that. But it's just like kind of Kame's another one where it's just like,
Yeah.
things don't look too hard for him. So it's like hard for, like, you're like, oh, Taylor Crabb's the best, although Taylor's freaking great. Like there's other guys who are really good. They just don't have. They're just like, with the 6'2" guys. It looks like we're putting in a lot of effort. So
Yeah, I do like Trevor too.
Trevor's
when you look
just another
pound for
solid.
pound,
That's another one who's like. It's really
you never
solid.
call this dude an undersized blocker. Why? Because he's big at the net.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a bit of a fan. I would say that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you
not-
have to
and
be.
that's rare.
If
I'm
you
not-
love volleyball, you got to be a fan of the guys who are.
Well, I'm more of a fan of the sport, but I do have my exceptions. Trevor's one of them. Trevor,
Tries another one.
Baranek,
You can't really.
Baranek, and Theo.
And I would also say right now is a point in time where it's never been as competitive in my time in volleyball, because it's always been Phil and whoever he's playing with, and that's just it, And then this year, last year,
You're right.
It's been like where anybody can almost win. And there are a lot of good teams, Try and Trevor. You got Taylor and Taylor, who are still really good. Kame and Theo are really good. Whoever Phil's playing with is really good. And there was one more. But yeah, it's really competitive right now. So
I really like your pick. And Doc, you kind of agree with him on that? Like, there is this kind of closing of the gap.
Yeah.
Where
100%.
back then
yeah, maybe when
Torres
Phil's in a
just-
wheelchair, we'll
yeah.
like have.
Yeah. Phil's out there with a walker,
Yeah.
playing defense,
from
chasing
the
balls down.
wheelchair, from the wheelchair, trying to block with one hand and,
Yeah.
and shit like that. I really like that. My favorite female is best. We're gonna get best female defender in the world. In fact, let me do that first before I talk about my favorites. Shame on me. Who's the best American beach female player? I mean, oof. Can I start with just the killer? Came on the top of my head.
Sure.
As far as killers in the game, the girl that has this look like, if you serve me, I'm gonna F you up.
Sponsor.
You haven't seen, no, Sponsors has that, but she ain't got that. I'm talking about like Misty May, the girl that makes you sorry you ever served her. I get that from Betsy Flint, and I get that from Kristen Nuss.
I was gonna.
So
say
as far as
yeah.
like my two killers in the game, Betsy has that. I mean, not playing her best volleyball right now. I mean, she got aced a bunch of times in the final. She won. They won Hamburg.
Yeah.
Her and Kelly won Hamburg.
Yeah.
But I only get that. I mean, you do get aggressiveness from Sponsor and Sarah Hughes or whatever, but that Rough Rider, that mean, nasty dog, like dude with long hair, I get from Kristen Nuss and Betsy Flint. But with that being said, the best female player on the tour, that's open too, huh?
Yeah.
It's
I'd
open
say
too.
very open, and yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff, please.
I was gonna say it's
You
kind of
got
the same
camera
thing.
one right now, dude.
kind of the same thing as the men's right now, where it's really hard to pick because we have so many different teams winning events. So it's really hard for me to say, but I would, if I had to lean toward an all-around best player, dang, that's really hard, man.
Right,
Doc?
Doc?
You got anything?
Yeah, well, I would say, I think some of the best players that we have on tour right now, they graduated from college within the last 3 to 5
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
12 years of free coaching.
Right. But, with more opportunities via the NCAA, I think in like 5 years, I think the female side is just going to be ridiculous.
It already is.
It already is.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like we've probably got 5, 6 teams that could win at any time.
Yeah.
I feel like in 5 years, we're going to have 32 teams that could win at any time.
Look at this year alone. How many tournaments were won by girls who were 1 year removed from college?
Yeah.
Or still in college.
Yeah.
Like Kristen Nuss and Taryn Cloth, they graduated in 2021. They won the first tournament this year. They won Atlanta from the qualifier, no less, last year, right?
last year.
Australia got the last spot in the FIVB with no points. Tried their luck, made it to the draw, won. And they're just Tina Gardina just graduated last year, 2021.
Yeah.
She won with Haley Harwood, who just graduated 2021. Scholes, who just graduated 2021, won with Gina Narango. A vet, good for her, right? Hey, big up. Let's two claps.
Haley's
for Gina.
always going to get my pick because she's just
Yes.
like the coolest person ever.
Yeah.
So she's always my pick for best women's volleyball player.
Yeah.
But
She's the person you want your son to date, but not your daughter to
But-
fight. That girl is jacked.
you are right. There's so many good girls coming out of college that it's tough. I just went and watched my friends play CBVA, and they're like 24, 25, and they got beat by like some college girls. Then they were like, "Oh, these girls were, they're 16 years old," and it was so disappointing that they beat us. And I was like, the 14 and 13-year-old girls that are going to college that I coached at Endless Summer could probably be you guys just because they get so much coaching. I mean, like for the middle of the road qualifier girls, like that are in the quali at this stage, you have no chance with these girls that are coming out of college to just get top level coaching almost year round. So I mean, like,
and Doc, don't you think the biggest warning sign was 2019? Like in 2019, you had Kraft and Maple at 16 years old, whatever, make the quarterfinals. Chrissy Jones and Muno make the semifinals. Katie Hogan, she made a finals, which some would call an overachievement, but finals is finals. Relax. Didn't we see the warning signs, at least from the women's scene, that the NCAA, these girls who are getting 12 months out of the year coaching?
Maybe I'm glad we don't have
a gym, right? A free gym, a place to live.
In college might be a good thing for me right now.
That's the thing, though. I mean, on the women's side, it goes so deep. There are 14-year-old girls. It's deep. I mean, that could just smash.
Them, Jeff.
Smash.
Right? We were coaching them.
Smash.
I try to tell these girls that all the time.
We were coaching them in 2017.
It's so
Some of these girls are out there now.
I mean, we're going to have so many women's teams just dominating, the AVP dominating international volleyball. It's going to be ridiculous, I think. The disparity between women's beach volleyball and men's beach volleyball is almost embarrassing.
Yeah, the skill. You can
the
see
skill
the skill
level. Yeah.
The sponsors coming out of college a few years ago, handsetting better than the guys who like literally handsetting better than the guys. Not compare it like she
could be in that conversation for best hands today.
Yeah.
Right? Skylar Josel, Rafu Rodriguez, very ignored.
Yeah. Rafu.
Yeah.
I don't know that guy.
This man here, Doc.
Right.
This man here, right? Doesn't cut any corners when he sets, I actually said that on the film. I was filming practice. I don't cut corners. So as far as me being a fan of certain female players, I'm a fan of Chrissy Jones, who's not even playing no more. There's Team TKN, because what you see off the court, that behavior, and I'm a kind of a hater Jay, but I do recognize what's real and what's not. That's real. That niceness is there's politeness, but there's niceness that comes from this genuine place. I get that every time I talk to Kristen Nelson and Taryn Club. Yeah. Chrissy Jones, class personified. The type of girl that walks into a room and like men get up and she's like, no, it's okay. Like one of those black and white film actresses, it's like when men said, no, you don't have to stand up. It's all right. Yeah. Remember the story I told you about Shundawood? Did I tell you about Shundawood? Who? That's Chrissy Jones' new name. I'm in Atlantic City, and I'm gonna share the story before we wrap up or do it, because I wanted to talk about you with Atlanta. What's his name? Josh Glazebrook, right?
Yeah.
Comes up to me, right? 45 seconds before the match started. I'm calling court 1, and he's like, "She's got to go by her new name. She's not Jones anymore." And I'm like, "Cool. What's her new name?" He goes, "Shundaward." And I go,
"She got married?"
I said, "Say that again."
Yeah,
he goes, Shundaward. And I said, "Do you know how to spell it?" And he goes, "Nope." And I said, Shundaward.
Wait, so what's the reason for the name change?
She was married. She's married to a Marine.
It sounded like a superhero
She's
name.
married to
it did. She's
married to a Marine who at the time was serving in Afghanistan. And to honor him, she wanted to go by under her name. She left the scene allegedly, or not allegedly, but I believe because her husband came back healthy, 100% healthy, but injured his neck in a field training exercise. One of these things that, Marines kind of do for practice. And I think she's kind of just hanging with him now a little bit. So that's why we haven't seen her that much on the scene.
Well,
but
we're thankful for him serving.
Absolutely. Thank you. Chrissy Shundaward or Jones. Yeah, thank you for your service, and thank you for serving me as one of your biggest fans. Came on the podcast again, just class personified. And I wanted to caveat who I was a fan of, because I'm already a fan of you two mofos. Doc, be podcast malpractice. I want to talk about Atlanta last year. The day as you were coming into the qualifier and you and Mike were preparing, was there? And Jeff, jump in at any time, okay? Was there a good feeling psychologically or emotionally, like when you were coming into the qualifier, based on maybe just some of your practices and the connection, that you were like, I think something really good is going to happen tomorrow?
Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I just try to give it my all no matter what. I try to get my priorities straight before playing. Try to focus on having a good attitude, just being thankful to God for the opportunity to even be able to play volleyball. So I've tried to change my mindset a lot over the last couple of years. Being able to play volleyball is such a privilege, and it's such a blessing. So going into that tournament, I was just stoked to get to play volleyball. I wasn't sure. That was only like my second tournament of the year. And after my first one, I didn't know what was going to happen. But before my first one, I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know if I'd be playing at all. So yeah, Atlanta was definitely very special, but I was just happy to be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd you beat to play in, if you remember?
To play in was Mike Bogue and Timmy Brewster.
Timmy Brewster.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bogue. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bogue. Phil, some of the things give me two things you thought Mike did well in that game.
What Mike did well, his focus was really good. I have two buddies back home. Shout out to JK and Brian Cox. They watched a lot of film before we played them and gave us a really great game plan. And so Mike and we just talked about it, and we had this game plan. We just decided to execute it, and he stayed focused. He stayed on the game plan, and just performed phenomenally, which made it really easy on me to do what I do back there. So.
Yeah. Cool, man. I really appreciate that. How about the conditions? Jeff, were you out in Atlanta last year?
No.
Oh, you weren't there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was hot.
It was hot as balls, right?
It was like 98 with like 98% humidity.
It's not so fun.
It was awful.
It's like New York in August.
Yeah. It's like Michigan in August.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking, because Jeff and I were talking about that. It's like, wait, you win twice. The worst you could finish is fifth. Right?
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
So one game on Saturday, win or lose, you play Sunday for quarters, or Sunday for semis. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they would open it up. I mean, if you're in the main draw, you just got to beat a qualifier team, and then like you're already in 7th place.
It's true.
I mean, come on, AVP, let's go. More opportunities for more people. How are we going to grow the game if there are so few opportunities?
Yeah. Jeff, I guess someone had a question, but I wanted to tune into this question.
Cool.
Like in 2019, actually, you guys played in New York. I remember hanging with you guys in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I hung with you and Dave Palm in Huntington Beach.
From Huntington.
Yeah. Remember David said he's going to play with Camacho. We were like, wait, is Camacho even still alive? And it turned out, right, that dude's smoking a cigarette in the technical timeout, and he has a cat. He had a cat in his box. Yeah.
No way.
What? A cat. See how I jump off the subject, Jeff? Just like Jay,
I don't know
concentrate.
what the question is, but
my question
I don't remember
is
the question.
no. Look, my question is a lot of elite athletes, when you have some of these nagging injuries that prevent you from doing a lot of the things you do well, you have a decision to play through it or just be like, hey, I need to step away for like a month or two and take care of myself. I guess my question is, and someone asked me this because they believe we know each other very well, and we do. So my question with you was, one, how important is doing nothing? And two, how do you, I mean, it's 2 years removed and you look terrific now. And, we practice you. I think you feel terrific now, but for other athletes coming up, maybe, I'm just using how it pertains to you in the past. How important is just saying, hey, I need to take, some time to chill.
Well, there's very few times where you're doing nothing. Even if you are taking time away from the game, whether it's a long period or short period, you're using that time to heal. And there are obviously things that you can do to heal. It's like, are you working on your mental health, or are you sitting on the couch, like watching Netflix, which, there's a time for that too. But to answer your question a little bit more directly, it's huge, especially for someone like me who is a blocker most of the time, who I'm 6'2" and I run up to the net. There's no sense in killing myself all first half of the season and then trying to go out and think I'm going to be able to walk through the qualifier and then win 2-3 matches in the main draw or win a tournament. Like it's probably pretty realistic. So just being able to have a little bit more consistency, but not kill yourself. Like I'll probably get more training in if I go 30-minute training sessions, 40-minute, hour-long training sessions, three times a week, rather than trying to go the 2 hours. I'll get more training throughout a long period of time because I don't have to take time off because I'm injured or because I'm just worn out. So doing less for me has worked wonders over the past couple of years, and I wish I would have maybe thought about it a little bit earlier, because everyone's a little bit different in how they need to train. I wouldn't begin to tell someone else how to do their training, but for me, just not going too hard and spending some time on Jeff, and making sure that I'm straight mentally, physically, just emotionally, just because there's just so many factors for a beach volleyball player, because a lot of times we are our own physical therapist, we are our own counselor, we are our own coach, we're our own agent, we're our own travel agent. We are doing so much that it's important for us to basically just to take care of ourselves first, and then volleyball will flow a lot better after that, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like, I know Jeff, all volleyball players, right? We're super competitive.
Yeah.
Like we don't view like taking time for ourselves as like an option. If we're if we're hurt and we feel like, we need to maybe step back for a little bit. Well, now are we falling behind everybody else?
Right.
Everyone else is still working
Everybody's
just as
training.
hard
I bet you
or
are.
harder.
I bet you are.
And then, the season is pretty short. So it's like, okay, if I take off these like 2 or 3 tournaments, now I'm missing those opportunities to
not
play.
getting points and
Not getting
stuff.
points,
Yeah.
right?
So
that's a huge answer, because that's something that a lot of people who don't play or don't play as much or play at the level might not comprehend.
Yeah.
That it is. And Jeff, as a caveat, what you said before, volleyball players are the biggest improvisers in any, possibly in any, besides UFC fighters or MMA fighters, probably more than any other athlete in any sport. You have to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're an Avenger. I don't know mouth to mouth. Yes, you do now. My car broke down. I'm not a mechanic.
Yeah.
You are now.
Yeah. Every
Get on
volleyball
the
player
internet.
knows the human anatomy more than any other athlete on the planet. I'm not kidding. I go into the PT or chiropractor, and he's like, "Wait, how do you know what that is? How do you know that leads to this?" I'm like, yo, man, we don't got a choice. It's like I'm either going to look it up and figure out what hurts or remember what my trainer said, or it's not going to get done, So
That's
like
right.
I'm not Djokovic. I don't have 12 staff members rolling with me to, help me get prepared for tournaments. I got to do it myself. So
Nice. It makes complete sense. No, guys, I appreciate the honesty and sentiment. It takes it's hard for us, especially like men, to admit that we need to chill at the same time we still need to drive on and how.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
But also, if you're a lot younger, wear yourself out, dude. I'm 36. You 21-year-olds to 24, 25-year-olds, wear yourself out, dude. Get as much. I did that. I got as much. I was playing every day, 2 times a day, all the time.
Taking advantage of every opportunity.
Yeah, we were taking advantage of every opportunity. But once you get to a certain point, you got to work smarter instead of harder. So
yeah, when you start becoming old.
Yeah.
My headphones was breaking up. Let's call us old.
Yeah, what's old? Yeah.
But that seeped into my second question, just because you guys have been around the game for a bit, and with a heightened level of success. I mean, I'm in a room with some guys that are like, I could do better, and I still have these other goals, and I know you both feel you got bigger fish to fry. But just allow yourself the next 5 or 10 seconds to indulge on some of the things you've done so far. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. Look, it's awesome being in the same room for these guys doing these good things. So my question, that question that was supposed to happen, 18-year-old coming up, sees Jeff, sees Vander Meer. What's the formula? Right? Like you find a way. You guys always find a way into the main draw when you're in a qualifier. And when you're in the draw, you actually make a big dent. And I thought 2017 was awesome for you, even in the losses. So someone's 18. They ask you piece of advice. They want to get better. They want to take the next level. They know, and there's always this. And for volleyball, there's always this next level until you're number one, right, in the world, right. And you're best in the country. You're not going to rest on that. So give an 18-year-old some piece of advice. He just got out of high school. He's been playing some club. Maybe Alzina gave him some privates. Vander Meer, you go first.
Yeah. I would say take advantage of every opportunity. If there are players that you kind of idolize and you enjoy watching, like mimic their style, and don't be afraid to hit them up on social media too. Hit them up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Chances are that they'll get back to you and they'll give you some advice. But just keep at it. I mean, volleyball is a hard sport, but if you really love it, just let that passion just drive you and guide you.
Love it. I can't follow that up. I would.
Don't get distracted by girls.
Well, that was the main reason I got in. That was the main
say,
reason I got into
100%
volleyball. Like, Jeff, you want to come play volleyball? Nah, I got lacrosse practice. There'll be girls. What time?
Yeah.
That's
not a lie.
Tell me a volleyball guy who has not gotten into this sport because of girls, right?
But, yeah, the first thing I would probably tell an 18-year-old is, it won't work unless you work it. So, if you want to get out there and do it, go do that. Don't care about what other people say. A ton of people told me, being from Michigan, that, you're not going to be able to play beach volleyball. I'm from Flint, Michigan. They're like, you're not going to be able to play beach volleyball. What is this? Go get a job at a factory somewhere,
Yeah.
And, it was obviously something that was on my mind, in the back of my mind, from all the loved ones and family members who just didn't have that vision for me. But, God didn't give them that vision. They gave that vision to me, and that's why, it was bestowed upon me to be able to do what we do. And the other thing would probably be, don't worry about what you look like when you're doing something. That is the number one thing I tell the kids that I coach.
Amen.
Everyone, I would say geek out more than you think you probably should. Over-exaggerate things more than you probably should. So many people are worried about looking like the next person, or looking, how do I look? I probably look ridiculous when I'm standing up there getting ready to block, because I'm like so crouched down, and I'm like, because I know that's the only way I'm going to get up very quick, being shorter. So it's like, I probably look a little bit weird looking like this, but like, hey, at my height, I don't know anybody in the States or even in the world maybe that gets as many blocks as I do. So
I think Doc could say the same about himself, right?
Or even him in
like on defense.
Yeah, exactly.
The dude moves like an animal.
Yeah,
Doc.
You gotta want it. You gotta be hungry. You can't be afraid to make mistakes.
I've never seen someone that moves so fast to an area and then like full stop, almost like a pause button, like a freeze frame than he does. He gets to the spot and he stops. That's what
since I met him.
This is what I'm talking. Yeah,
he was maybe like 15 or 16 years old, and he's always had like good fundamentals, good skill.
Twitch.
Both of us have worked on the mental game a lot more, but this guy just, he still jumps really well. This kid at 15, 16 years old was just feet to ball, jumping straight up and hammering people in the face. And then telling them about it after he does it. And that opened up my whole world to beach volleyball. I was like, wow. You can do that.
Fast,
you can do that. Like, I've seen a tall guy do what tall people do. But when I met him for the first time, I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Well, I think the more people that get to know how he plays, the less people he hits in the face. Because there are some people, you go up and you have this approach, and your approach for your jump, your shot and your power is almost the same. So I've seen some guys like walk in, step in early, and you hit it, and just absolutely blew him up, and everybody watching is like, I can't believe that short dude. I can't believe that dude just. And that's the worst feeling in the world. Stepping into it at the same time someone's swinging, it's like,
ouch.
Oh
yeah, Jeff and I retired a few guys.
Yeah.
We were playing.
Oh man,
Social Security.
Imagine me at 21 or 22 and him at 16 out there at the MPVA, which would be like our CBVA or whatever. Like, imagine us, like, uncontrolled emotion, just two wild young boys just out there and beating almost everyone. There was only like one team that was better than us. So it was like, it was insane just to be like to be out there in Michigan just playing volleyball all the time with this guy. I learned a lot at the beginning of how to play volleyball from him and his entire family, actually. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, Sarah Stratton says she loves Michigan too. Sarah, 2001 beat Holly McPeak. I think she played with Hanley, and that was in Muskegon. Sarah Stratton, for those of you guys don't know,
I know the name.
She 2000 Olympics, Australia was the host, so they had 3 teams, and she was one of those teams. She was an indoor middle. Got lucky, got good, and she's got 1 AVP under her belt, and that one is Michigan.
Yeah, nice.
And she beat. Look, if you beat, it doesn't matter the venue. If you beat Holly in the finals, you gotta have respect.
Oh, the AVP went to all 3 of those stops for a long time.
Yep.
Muskegon.
Yep.
I think they've been to South Haven a few times. I don't know.
Yes.
And Grand Haven.
Yeah. So, Coney Island was a big thing for them too in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That beach is a dump too. So I'm sorry, Coney Island. I mean, look, bad beaches are the reason I hated the beach. I didn't start liking the beach until 2016.
If you want to talk about bad beaches, we'll go to Atlantic City.
Dump.
Panama City's awful because it's always spring break and drunk people are walking and twerking through the court.
Some fat guy walks down and yanks your net and lets it go.
And then Ocean City. Oh, sorry. Ocean City.
So my piece of advice, not to young people, or the people who have been in the game as long as you guys have, and this is what I tell everybody, always have something that you can do 2 or 3 days a week that allows you to come back and do this job volleyball like a mammal. Like, for me, when coaching, when this escapism called volleyball became my career, for me it was karaoke. I do it 2 or 3 days a week. I'm good. I can do my job.
Mine's disc golf.
If I don't, disc golf?
Yeah, I went this morning.
Yeah. And it was, and I told Savvy Simo this too. She's too young to get it, but she's going to get it maybe 2 or 3 years from now. The job can't save you. All right? You're out there, you're taking down this tournament, you're taking down that tournament, you're finishing here, you're finishing there. And it's always next to the one and next to the one. But at the end of the day, your escapism counts. Family with different last names, or just family with the same last name. These are the things in the end, when you're done with this, not if, when, because there's going to be a when, that allows you to enjoy the same success and at the same time not have these things mentally destroy you. Because mentally is going to eventually go to physically, because you feel like you're not doing things physically hard enough, so you're going to work harder, and then it's going to be your knees and your back until there's nothing left except this ball of dust. Yep. But guys, the job, I'll say to the camera, the job can't save you.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I tell some of the guys who've been playing for a while. Yeah. Jeff, please.
I think that is one of the cooler things about volleyball, being a professional beach volleyball player, is it doesn't exactly, you put a lot into it, but it doesn't exactly consume your entire life. Where if you were a professional football or basketball player, you don't have any other choice but to be with the team and do team things all the time. And I feel like it's a little bit harder for those guys to find things that they're passionate about after they're done with their sport. For us, we almost have to have another passion or job. To survive. So, for me, I do the public speaking thing. I'm traveling around with Hyundai during the winter time and doing that. I'm very passionate about that. I play disc golf and other sports and that sort of stuff. So it gives me an opportunity to not only do other things right now, but to have something that almost gives me the same feeling as being out on a volleyball court. And I feel like a guy like Michael Jordan, although he's into a lot of stuff, he's never going to feel the same as when he was on the basketball court with the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be a lot harder for a guy like him. Don't get me wrong, he had his huge ups with championships and all this stuff, but
he gambled.
But there is a rest.
But he
of your
gambled.
life.
He did some things that helped him sustain.
I don't know if I count gambling, but
no, for him, we got our own thing, dude. My wife likes to swim with sharks.
Say what it is for him.
That's not petting no damn shark. Like Kelly, you met Kelly, right? Kelly on her spare time likes climb Kilimanjaro.
My people don't swim with sharks. We leave all that.
People think they're not going to be an emergency snack.
We ain't discovering no new species. Is that a Rottweiler or a bear? I'm out of here. I'm out here.
Hey, Dave Senior sent this picture. I want to show it to everybody.
Oh, that's us.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, that's you guys. That's you covering.
Yeah.
Who is that? Is that Jimmy Vanderwall blocking you?
Yeah, maybe.
Check it out.
That looks like Muskegon, I think.
Where's my hair?
I was going to say, where's the hair, buddy? I didn't understand. Who is that?
This is Dave. Is that Dave? This is Dave. Well, that's definitely Jeff.
Yep. I
no
remember that
mistaking that.
tournament, too.
Oh, that was a fun one.
Yep.
Cool, guys.
That's awesome.
So, guys, before we get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
because Jeff, we know we could do this for like 3 hours if we allow each other, but I
We've
know
done that before.
I know you got a qualifier tomorrow, and I know
Carlos
you
is
wanna,
passed out over here, I think.
Oh my God, Carlito! I'm gonna get a shot of him in the corner. Actually, where's my camera? Right there. There go Carlos right there, hiding behind the LSU mug. I got you. So Jeff, Doc, any like IG handle or anyone who wants to know more, a little more about what you guys have been up to or what's next, where can they find you? Is there a particular website or this and that?
Yeah, for me, you can find me at doc_VM on Instagram. And please feel free to reach out. I'll get back to you eventually. I'm not great on social media, but I do enjoy getting questions and responding to those.
Yeah. I think mine's just Jeff Samuels. I changed it so much. Jeez. Jeff Samuels II on Instagram.
Okay.
At Jeff Samuels. 2 I's at the end.
I like it. Ain't no I in team, baby. He's like, ain't no we either. But hey,
There's an I in win.
yes. Yes, my man. So Doc might love you guys and Jeff might love you, but me, I don't love any of you guys. And in fact, I can't stand any of you, so I'm out of here, all right? So for all of you on your iPhone, for all of you guys on your Droid, if that still exists, for all of you on your desktop who runs the world, old school, baby, old school. For Jeff Kennedy Samuels.
My middle name is actually Bernard. Okay.
As in B, okay. Yeah. So for Jeff B. Samuels and for Doc Vander Meer, David Vander Meer, the Muscle Shark, I'm Jason DeBeas. We're going to hit my music. Stay with me for a little bit. And we're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NYVarsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.